Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome to another episode of The Full View. Let's welcome in the cast for this night, for tonight. Okay, wait. Wait. I wasn't familiar with the game. Hold on, wait a second. Let's run it back. Welcome to United View, and welcome to another episode of The Full View.
Oh, you didn't know? I've got sound effects too. What's going on, everybody?
Big up, man. We got Joe Blackman making his debut finally. He got hold of the right people. He used his connects. He went on trial twice, and he did the right thing. He did the Lord's work, and he's here. He's here. So shout out Joe Blackman. Shout out Tomo as well, all the way from Jamaica. Big up to you, bro. He's in the Superman t-shirt today. So that means he's going to be on. He's on stuff. You know what I mean? He's on stuff. Shout out Bradley, of course. Big up to you, Brad. We watched the game together against Arsenal. It's nice to see a little bit of salt in Cecil and Robbie's face. Hey, they got a goal back, but still, they were hanging on at the end. They were hanging on. Only we know they were hanging on. They wanted to get out of there as quickly as possible. And of course, shout out to Owen. And of course, you guys watching at home, smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Ian says, Owen dropped the charges. Joe Blackman is there. That's right.
I tried. I even called in. I called into KG show this morning. They weren't having it. There was a very difficult judge to deal with today.
Yeah, no, don't worry, Owen. All charges dropped.
Good.
All charges dropped. Yeah.
Excellent.
Last case, it's all done. All right, cool. That's fine. All right, let's get into this evening's show, man. It's a big evening of football. Obviously, everyone's going to be watching the big Champions League, so we'll be off before that. Don't worry about that.
Champions League, what's that? Champions League. I don't know what we're talking about. It's all about Europa on a Thursday. It's all about that. That's what the world's
let's all take a moment to celebrate Liverpool being out yesterday. It was a good day for us.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend like it wasn't a good day. Yeah.
Yeah,
we needed it.
Very true.
We needed it, and Liverpool fans. My Liverpool friend, for some reason, it's like they don't know me. I don't know. It's like, why are you talking to me, Flex? You can't say anything. Yes, I can. That's absolute. That's what we're here to do at all times.
We're playing an important role as being one of the few teams from England left in Europe. Yes,
exactly. 100% agree, Tamo. Right, today's show. Owen, earlier on today, there was some sort of stuff coming out about INEOS's like summer transfer overhaul, the players that are for sale, players that are going to be out, a big shift of players out and a big shift of players coming in.
Yes, indeed. So the Mirror were reporting that Manchester United are set for a major squad overhaul this summer with as many as 8 players set to leave. Now, some of these names are more surprising than others. You've got Anthony, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, currently all out on loan, so expected to leave. Casemiro, linked with a move away, I guess permanently, but still always never leaves. Christian Eriksen, his contract's coming to an end. Johnny Evans, his contract is coming to an end, I think. Tom Heaton and Victor Lindelof, contracts also coming to an end. But also, they included, interestingly, on that list, Mason Mount, who also just interestingly returned to Manchester United training today. So what do people make of those names? I guess probably says a lot about I suppose, specifically Mason Mount. I could start with you, Joe, since you pressed the boo button.
Yes, so I mean, I don't even know why he came here in the first place, if I'm being honest with you. Like, I've got multiple bets. I've got multiple bets this season with people about Mason Mount even just staying fit. People owe me money. Yeah, people owe me money this season. Mason Mount, I don't even know. For one, I understand the profile of the player is decent, right? He's a decent player. He's when fit. But haven't we been saying this for the longest time about Luke Shaw? It's the same Luke Shaw problem that we've just basically adopted again. I don't understand why we're going through this situation again. We need to do more. Obviously, it was sins of the past and whatever else. And, let's not mention my ex-babes, Ten Hag, because, everybody's telling me I'm not allowed to say anything. But, the sins of the past and all that, innit? Yeah, sins of the past. But at the same time, I don't even really want him featured. Yes, if he's available, run him into the ground. Use him until he's broken again, which will probably be about like 1 week. But apart from that, Mason Mount offers nothing to this team, literally, because he's never available. Like, I don't even care if he's available. Like, okay, cool.
Bradley, what are you saying? Because the news came out today, and actually, like what Joe said there, I felt a bit bad in the end because when the news came out when we were live that he's back, literally like what Joe just did there. Yeah, all right. Cool. In other news, like it felt, and you want to get, I want to support the guy. No one wants someone to be injured, of course, but he ain't worked out. It's the worst move ever.
Yeah, it's good news, to be honest. And I didn't want him in the first place, if I'm being completely honest. And to sum it all up, he's got the Man United number 7. I mean, for me, he's an absolute fraud. To have the
Is that his fault?
How do you really feel, Bradley? Yeah. Let's be honest. Let's
Nah, do you know what?
Blame Ten Hag. Joe won't like it, but blame Ten Hag. He wanted him to be the 7.
I mean, I know he's won Chelsea Player of the Season twice, voted by the fans. But what I've seen of him, he's no better than Jesse Lingard for me.
Ooh, that's a big statement.
What,
That's
as in
a
the
big
best
statement.
version of him, or you mean what you've seen of him at Man United?
Both, to be
He's
honest.
better than Jesse Lingard.
He's
he?
better than Jesse Lingard, though. You
Better than
can't
Jesse
say
Lingard.
nah.
Yeah.
Nah,
better than
like
Jesse
if you
Lingard.
think about Lingard was rated after the World Cup.
Lingard, I think there's exactly. Look, first of all,
Mason Mount was
Chris actually said-
instrumental in getting Chelsea to Champions League victory. He was heavily involved in that system. I mean, Jesse Lingard won us an FA Cup. At best at his height.
I think
sometimes good players can be in bad teams, though, can't they?
Yeah.
Good players can be in bad teams. So if Bruno was in City, he'd be tearing it up, and he could say he won it 4 times in a row. But he's played for Manchester United,
and Bradley hates him and says he's rubbish.
I didn't say he's rubbish.
He did say he's rubbish. Better than Jesse Lingard. Sorry, not better than Jesse Lingard. Sorry, Tamo, what are you saying? Big up to you, Marcel. We see you, bro.
Well,
Tamo,
put
what
it
are you
this.
saying on this?
First thing, sometimes price make us judge a player wrongly. Everybody wants a star player, but I thought Mason Mount, if fit, would have done good. It's one of those things we have never questioned his effort when he's out on the field. You see, every player can't be the star player. We need team players. And if you think even the few times that he has played, I don't think it's his fault that he's injured. Right, he's not one of those. It doesn't appear to be one of those moaners, right? So we can blame the people for buying him. I thought it was a bad investment for the price, but I thought we need more people like those who will always give their effort. So I wouldn't call him a fraud. I think that's a stretch, because he has been a thorn in our side for Chelsea on multiple occasions, if we remember. So that's my thought on it. But if he leaves, it's neither here nor there to me. Like you said, like Bradley said, he doesn't play. So what do we do?
You're on mute, Fleck.
Brilliant.
Joe, I
Technology.
was just muting that while because I wanted to make sure which one was what. I don't know, Tamo, if you've got a wired headphones you can plug in or headphones you can put on, if you can. It's just it's like proper echoey and loud. I don't know if you've got any other ones. I could maybe turn it down a little bit, but it's just a little bit echoey and stuff.
I think it's the room. I guess it's the room I'm in because I do have in a headset.
You do? Maybe you know what? If is this, you might be better off even turning off the headset. It might even be better with the microphone. Yeah. Just try it without the headphones. Just turn them off and see. And we'll
give me 1 second. I literally have to physically move, so I'll do this here now.
Yeah, that's cool, bro. No worries. Yeah. I'm gone. Let me
people worried it was gonna be me with the issues, eh?
I know it's not. Imagine that on the first one.
Flex muting himself.
It happens a lot, bro. Come on, this is technology at its finest, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Marcel, what say you, man? Is there any faith that Mason Mount can, first of all, stay fit from now to the end of the season? Offer us something.
That's where my prayers are lying at right now. In terms of when I pray every morning, this is for Mason Mount to stay fit for as long as possible for us.
Wait. Why are you wasting your prayers for, bro?
Bro, because I want Manchester United to do well, bro, and he's part of the football club, So I need him to perform, and I'm seeing happy pictures of him training well. And
Oh, he's got Preds on as
off,
well. He's not on with the night, bro. That was what the problem was, bro. Now he's got the Preds with the tongue as well. He's got the proper Preds.
I just got this.
Why do you always notice people's crepes, fam? Why? Are you
because that's what I do. That's what I do, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Fleck is a crep. Look.
I just got this image of Marcel on it, like by his bed in the morning.
He's got the tongue, bro.
He's like this. Marcel's like this every morning, going, and yeah, I want to thank you for my blessings. And we pray for Mason Mount. To pray Mason stays fit.
It's something like that, but obviously I'm a lot shorter than you, Owen, and then I pray on my knees and my hands as well. So I'm not
yeah, well, obviously, yeah, that's what I was doing.
But firstly, Mason Mount, I know you're listening to this. Fascia, please research the fascia, Mason Mount. If you research the fascia, because I believe I looked at the injuries and it's something to do with the hips and just the connection, the legs and the hips. So research the fascia. I know he's watching it. Research the fascia, and you will be saved. You will be going in the right direction to a longer sustained bill of health. What's
the fascia, Marcel?
It's the interconnective tissue and ligaments and muscles that wrap the muscles and the ligaments across the body. It's another energy system that the body has that, you know, takes off the pressure of the bones and that.
Okay.
Question. What is researching it going to do for keeping him fit, bro?
So basically, he's going to learn how to train it. The physio team, once he gives this information to the physio team, which he will be doing hopefully in the next couple of months.
Shouldn't the physio team know it?
Why is he giving the information to the physio team, though?
Yeah.
Because
what the fascia is or whatever the hell it's called.
Because the way that we train the body in today's society is kind of it's the wrong way. It's especially for something like football.
Fascia, you should be training right now, bro. I swear down, you're talking bare fash. Like, it makes no sense. Like, the physio.
No, it's a real thing. It's a real thing, and we can, you know, the players have already gone down this route. So yeah, so this is a real thing. But so for Mason Mount, though, I agree with T in terms of, like, you know, what he brings to a football club or to a team, to a squad is 100% effort, and his ability to press what's in front of him is really, really good. He can play on the half turn as well. So all his attributes or his characteristics, like Ruben likes to speak on, his characteristics are very, very good for this 3-4-3 system and this 3-4-3 shape. It's just he can't seem to stay fit. Again, research the fascia, and he will be in that position to stay fit in a sustainable way.
What does Luke Shaw have to research then? What does Luke Shaw have to research then, bro? Make it be known, because I need to know these things, because apparently they just need to go research and then they're still fit, yeah?
Yeah. Well, here's one. So there's always going to be a line. There's always going to be a line in life. There's always, the fascia, yeah. This is what's going to save him.
What do you mean, yeah? Like Marcel? Like, yeah.
So obviously, he's got something wrong with his joints. So this is obviously something wrapping the muscle.
This is because this is true. This is a real thing. We have established that the fascia is not a made up thing. He is.
So I know that's why I was laughing. That's why I was laughing. That's why I was laughing when you said it.
But the idea that Mason Mount would go to a professional physio sports scientist at Manchester United, all right, that's their career, and go, have you heard about the fascia? And they're going to go, really? The fascia. That's worrying, isn't it?
It's so funny because this will happen and we'll be laughing about it till kingdom come. But it's very possible that this could end up happening. And then anyway, so
that's not possible. That's not possible. That would happen. That you would go to a physio and they'd be like, "What?" If you said the fascia, that's their
tell me what it is.
Well, no, it is possible. Well, it is possible if
that's
they don't.
Like someone coming. That's like someone coming to me and go, "Have you heard of a computer?" I'd be like, "What's that? Computer? What are you talking about that?" I'm on it every day.
But Owen, there's updates within the computer, so there might be something within the computer that you don't know about yet.
Well, actually, it's not an update. I mean, it's been there since the beginning of time.
But do you know everything? Do you know everything within the settings of the computer right now, Owen? You don't know everything.
You got to recalibrate it, mate.
Always been there. There's something that's always been there within your computer that, unfortunately, Owen, for no mistake of your own, you just don't know. You know,
if it was my job,
knowing and the lack of understanding, not knowing, is the becoming and the starting of the process of knowing. So.
If it was my job to know everything that was inside the computer,
no, it's not, because you haven't built it, Mr. Churchill.
But if it was my job,
Mr. Churchill, you haven't built the computer. You are not the computer builder. You are not the one of ones and zeros.
You haven't made the body, bro. You wasn't Adam. You wasn't Eve. You wasn't God.
I know that's the route you're going down, Marcel. You're going to go down. I'm not. Only God knows. Is that where you're going? You're going with only God knows.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying you're not all knowing in the art of the computer. I'm positive, because I know Mr. Churchill, that at some stage when we look at the computer, you're not going to know everything. I know this.
That's true.
Yeah, but hold on 1 second, though.
Thank you. Like I said it.
A physiotherapist. Hold on 1 second, though, Marcel. But a physiotherapist, yeah, someone who's paid to know the human body, right? Right?
Yeah, so doctors
at the highest level.
Do you know about Dr. Sebi? Do you know about Dr. Sebi and doctors? So a doctor who is, mastered his craft can't understand or fathom certain areas of fitness that Dr. Sebi understands. Is that a reality? I know
Dr. Dre.
I know Tino's
Dr. Dre.
Sebi.
Don't go to Dr. Dre about your knee, do you?
I know
Wouldn't go to Dr. Dre about your knee.
Pardon?
Wouldn't go to Dr. Dre about your knee, would you? Different doctor, different kind.
He's a musical doctor, so you might go for him for something musically that you need doctoring with.
If you got perforated eardrum, you would go to Dr. Dre. You would, perforated eardrum or ear infection.
No.
Would you tell Dr. Dre about your fascia?
If he wants to rap, if he wants to add it into a rap, then maybe.
Okay, Tamo, you're gonna come in. What are you saying about this?
But by the way, are you guys hearing me? Is it any better?
Yeah, it's
a bit better. Yeah,
but it's a bit better. Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, I mean, I'm with Marcel on this one. I don't know that the physios can know everything in terms of what could possibly happen with players. But what I will say is that we need to do a better job at it. I mean, maybe Manchester United, when we see injury-prone players, we should stay far from them. We don't do so well with them. And to some extent, I'll give, with Luke Shaw, I think it's after the whole incident, then we started seeing that. But I mean, the only player that I can remember where we took as an injury-prone player that worked out for us was Robin van Persie. And boy, did he work out for us. Yes? He literally stayed fit for the season that we had. So, honestly, guys, I'm not blaming Mason Mount. I literally want more players like Mason Mount as a supporting cast. Just stay fit. I'm not going to bash him because I don't think it's his fault with his health issues. Yes? So that's my 2 cents on it, though.
I was on mute there. I hear you on the bit that it's not his fault. I don't, because Bradley, you were strong. You called him a fraud. A fraud is like a pretender. Like,
He's not a pretender, but he was injured on his last season at Chelsea.
Yeah, but like calling him a fraud, I feel like fraud is a bit like you're meaning to be this guy. Strong. You're a fraud. Like I think that's too strong.
I will agree with Bradley. That there are players in our squad now that are frauds.
Oh,
yes,
but not Mason without meaning to be a fraud.
Huh?
You can be a fraud without meaning to be a fraud.
Yeah, okay. So what you saying he's a fraud as in like because he's meant to be a fit football player, but he's not. So he's a fraudulent footballer. Is that what?
Nah.
That's harsh.
No.
Yeah, but that's not his. He never asked. I feel like again that's Ten Hag. That I feel like. Do you know what I mean? We gave the 7. Yeah, no, Joe. Sorry, your guy gave it to him, bro.
But Bradley, apart from his injury, I mean, I'd hate to see you go to work and have a bout of illness and your co-workers start calling you a fraud. The point I'm saying is... The point I'm making is, if any one of you can say here that at any point in any game that we see Mason Mount play and we didn't think that guy played with his heart on his sleeve in terms of effort and doing what he's supposed to do. Miss some sitters, yes. Maybe that comes with not consistently playing. But putting himself in those situations and constantly putting his body on the line, and that's probably part of why he's so injury prone, because he's doing things his muscles or his body profile maybe not able to do. Yeah, that's it. I can't call him a fraud. That would be unfair. Yeah. That would be unfair.
I won't knock him for hard work.
I'm trying not to interrupt nobody, yeah? I'm trying not to be reckless, right? I'm trying not to interrupt nobody. So I'll raise my hand, yeah? But I'm saying this, bro, yeah? How do you feel about Mason? How do you feel about Luke Shaw?
Oh, how do I feel about Luke Shaw?
Yeah, how do you feel about Luke Shaw?
No. My sentiments about Luke Shaw is, if you were to call him a little bit of a fraud, I wouldn't complain. And it's because of his decisions. No. And I'm not complaining about, but it's some of his decisions. It's almost as if he doesn't prioritize the job that pays him, and that's being honest. I just think his decisions is not in benefiting Manchester United. So not fully fraud, but there's a 30% fraud in there somewhere along the line.
Now, Luke Shaw's a massive fraud.
Because of his
Hold on.
decision.
Let's say that. Why can't he say that about Mason Mount then? Because let's face it.
Well, I'll explain to you. His decision, his example. Let me explain. Simple. So, and I'll just, without going into too much detail, because I want everybody else to have input. What he did with England and Manchester United recently in his last, that's it. That's the one thing I have to put on. Why would he do that? I mean, we have been loyal to Luke Shaw, as in the club, right? In all his injuries, everything. We could have easily made a decision not to renew that contract. He's one of our highest paid players, bro. And he did that to us in the summer. He did not need to go to England to play one solitary game. Come on. That's decision.
And that TikTok he did with Molly May.
Yeah,
No self-awareness.
Hey, wait there, Joe. Joey's won that one, Joe. The TikTok's
People's
crazy.
mums being on benefits. I would argue he's on benefits.
Yeah, winning thing. I was just gonna. It's not even a battle. It wasn't even a battle.
Sergio would have cut him. Sergio would have cut him if he was on benefits. I wouldn't have. Yeah.
It's almost as if he wanted to call out Luke Shaw, Marcel. He was looking for a reason to call out Luke Shaw, but he didn't want to do it himself, so let Tomo do it.
Let's get Good Vibe John. Good Vibe John has entered the chat. He came in here laughing. I don't know if he was laughing at what's going on here or Marcel talking about the fascia.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like he was so locked in on this fascia talk, and then as soon as the image came up, he said, "Yeah." Like we're all supposed to sit there like, "Yep, that's right." Marcel is the greatest. Don't ever disrespect Marcel. He's the greatest.
This is it, right? Brains says it right here. I'm behind. But Marcel's talking facts, says Brains 247. Ika Kane says, I'm here for my guy Joe. You're making the delegates proud. Finally, he's here. He reached out. He listened to the advice you guys gave him. He became a better man. He was accountable. The A word. Some people don't like that word, yeah, but he was accountable, and he's got here.
It's about accountability, then. You should take some accountability as well. I'm just I'm not going to derail this.
Joe, I'm just saying some people don't like the words. I didn't say you don't like it. I'm just saying some people. If you feel offended, it's because maybe it applies to you. If you don't feel offended, then it doesn't.
I'm just saying that some people on this panel have not taken accountability. That's all in it. All right then.
Well, he's looking at Marcel's direction, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know who else is in your room. I don't know what room you're in. I'm not sure. Well, Joe, according to accountability as well, a bit of Pav's asking about some accountability, saying, Joe, why have you pulled up onto the mains UV on the casting couch? I don't know. They're talking about accountability for that. Jasdeep says Lingard was good and would improve this side. So what's your point? He doesn't choose to be injured. It's just unfortunate. We shouldn't call him a fraud. Bradley, can we ask you a question before we get to Good Vibe John after the couple of super chats? Just want to ask you one question, Brad. Are you revoking the word fraud, or are you standing on that word fraud?
I'll revoke it a bit, a tiny little bit. It's a little bit
all right.
harsh.
It's not really revoking.
Okay.
I feel like he gets a lot of grace from the fans, and he's on 250 grand a week.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Number 7, 250 grand a week.
Yep.
He's always injured. When he does play, he's not that great. He's not bad, but he's not good.
Yeah.
So
the fascia, Bradley, the fascia.
Facts.
Surely a consultant would tell him that. Surely he's seen a consultant that's a specialist in the area.
Bro, Dr. Andre can tell him that, bro. You know what I mean? Dr. Andre can tell him about the fascia. Nem Green says Marcel is UV's tie. I swear that loud pack is wild.
No, you can't disrespect Marcel like that. Absolutely not. I will not accept that. No.
Thank you very much.
Tell them. And he doesn't smoke as well. I don't think Ty smokes either, to be fair.
What's wrong with calling Ty? Stop disrespecting Ty, bro. Like, anyway.
V33 says fascia, focaccia, potatoes, tomatoes. Which one do you want to call it? Oh my days, Marcel, what have you caused here? Joe says full view now moved up the charts with Joe Blackman. They're saying you're adding value. They're saying that, you know what I mean, that you're saying you're adding value.
Come on now.
Word of the day, it's fascia from Riri. Right,
100.
over to you, good vibes, John.
Yes,
Are you coming with some good vibes? Are you how you feeling about the stadium? What are you saying about Mason Mount? Is he a fraud?
Let's
Does
talk
he need to
about
fix
the fraud
fascia?
part.
What are you saying?
Yeah, let's talk about that fraud part. I think me and Bradley, we've been clashing enough on the full view, but yeah, you guys covered it already. So I'll just share my part. I the difference between somebody like Luke Shaw and Mason Mount is that Luke Shaw decided to gamble on the trust that Manchester United fans gave him by going to the Euros. I think that will forever leave a stain on Manchester United fans and their perception of Luke Shaw. And conversely speaking, when you're looking at somebody like Mason Mount, he has yet to do something like that. And from what I don't know, I think Flex, you've also been there in the training grounds. We've seen them train. I've spoken to Mason. They train really freaking hard. Like, he trains mad hard. So the idea that you're calling him a fraud because he's getting injured, I think that's very unfair for somebody that's really trying his utmost best to try and get something done and trying to actually be a part of the squad and apply himself and do well for Manchester United. I'm sure if he wasn't injured, then maybe we would have a clear idea as to sort of, I guess, maybe grading his football ability, but we've not really even been able to properly see that in its entirety because he's not been able to stay fit for long. That's the issue. But to call him a fraud because he's unfit, and that's to me, that's unfair.
Okay. Well, Bradley, to be fair, Bradley did pull back on that a bit. He did
a little bit, yeah. He
I
revoked it a bit.
I do agree with the part that he did do the Euros thing with Luke Shaw. I can't stand Luke Shaw. I'm not hearing anything about Luke Shaw though.
Yeah, no, everyone agrees. Everyone agrees. To be fair, probably everyone agrees. Well, does everyone agree that they both need to go in the summer? They can't. I think that's. John, do you think, or do you still want to see a little bit of faith in Mason Mount again?
I have plenty of faith in Mason Mount. I think he'll come good for us. I think we'll figure out. I think so. Joe, no, don't do that, Joe. Don't give me the. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't say nothing. I didn't
be a first teamer.
Sometimes actions speak louder than words. If you give me you know what I'm saying?
What I would say, if we can recoup some of the money for him, we should let him go because we shouldn't gamble on just having injury-prone players. We have done that too much with players. I'm not going to get sentimental about it.
I'm sorry, that's very true. You're right. If we can recoup some of the money, sure. But right now, we have to do damage control. And there's other players in this squad that we need to take the L on first. Mason Mount is not that big of an L. I mean, Sir Jim Ratcliffe in the interview, he talked about Casemiro. He talked about Anthony. We still have to buy some of these players. And there's a lot of these players that we know 100% don't fit the project. If you're telling me we have to get rid of everybody at once, that's not going to work. And Mason Mount, with all due respect, I love him so much, but no other.
There ain't going to be no takers. There ain't going to be no takers.
Yes, sir.
Mason Mount's going to be here.
You know, when you said Mason, I think Mason Mount would be good as a player in the long run. Is that going to be as a bench player or a first teamer?
My personal belief is that I've rated him since he was at Chelsea. I think he has all the talents and all the potential to make it to be a squad player. The reason why I also, as much as I was a little bit concerned about Ruben Amorim's 3-4-2-1, implementing that into the Premier League, and I thought maybe some of the struggles might be to find the right players in that setup.
Would he need his wages reduced for that though? Because 250 a week is a bench.
Just to chime in a bit on that, I would agree with him. I think even what we're asking to do with his specific formation of 2 number 10s, it would actually suit Mason Mount much better than the other players that we're using in that position now, for exactly what he wants to do there. You see, in that particular phase of player or where it is like we're using half wingers, not full wingers. And Mason Mount fit that profile from a defensive standpoint and even from an attacking piece, in that he's not going to try to do too much. He's going to try to link up the play as quickly as possible, which is what we need, and he's going to work hard to get back the ball. If you look in what Amorim did in Sporting, those players are traditionally, that's what they are asked to do and stuff of that nature. In his play, I know I don't want to keep mentioning Ten Hag, but he ultimately wants the transition to happen quicker. And I'm telling you, Mason Mount does that better in that position than to say where we have Ahmad or something else. I'm just saying for the profile of what the coach is asking to do. Nobody don't criticize me to tell me I'm saying he's better than Ahmad. I'm saying for what he's asking to do, Mason would actually suit that better.
I've always agreed that, and even thought I've just had to stop. But my thing, Owen will tell you, My thing was riding out for Mason Mount. I'll be honest. I was riding out for Mason Mount
A lot.
when he was when he had the Owen was going, but Flex, when are you going to be done? And I said, if he gets one more big injury, and this was about, I think that was 2 injuries ago.
I think it was 3.
Oh, was it 3 injuries ago? Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
There you go. But I was always saying, I think there's a player there. The best version of Mason Mount, obviously this was 3 injuries ago now. This ain't now. I was like, if he can get fit, he actually fits the profile of an inside 10 perfectly well. His best football in his career has been there. Chelsea won the Champions League with that. But now the discussion of that, I believe, is null and void, because I just don't believe he's going to stay fit. Which I hope I'm wrong, but I've lost faith, John. That's what I was going to say. I've lost faith that he's going to be fit.
Yeah.
I haven't lost faith that he's
the unfair thing to him. I still think we overpaid for him, and that's the club stuff.
Absolutely, we got rinsed. Yeah, we got rinsed.
Yeah, so that's what I'll say. So there's some fraud in there, Bradley, just not Mason.
I just to wrap up on the point. I'm sure we want to move on, but like the idea about Mason Mount, all of it is layered in complexity. We brought Mason Mount in when we were following off the back of a great season under Eric Ten Hag at Manchester United. We wanted to already look towards the future with Mason Mount. That's how good we were. We looked great with Casemiro. We looked great with Christian Eriksen. We looked great with Varane. We looked great with Licha. We looked good with Erasmus. We looked good with so many of those players. We looked good, and that was the issue with respect to Manchester United, was that we were looking too far ahead. We weren't really planning about the now, and that's that gamble we went with Mason Mount. And unfortunately, the gamble hasn't paid off in twofold, because not only did we completely overhaul the system, but he can't stay fit. The question for me isn't about ability, because I think he fits this this inside forward role, wide role. I think he fits that versatile role so perfectly as one of the 10s. It's not about ability; it's about availability. That's the thing he needs to work on, and I believe he can still do that. My grading procedure is always looking at the player in the most in terms of like decision making, like, do I want it to stay or do I want it to go in the 3rd season? Next season is when I'm truly going to say, okay, Mason.
So if there's these injuries next season, that's when you're going to be like, you're done. That's your cutoff point.
Yeah, most likely.
John, wait, John. That was good. I feel like, John, do you know what I feel like? I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, be honest. Yeah.
I'm going to be really honest, John, because this is the full view.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a connection to Mason Mount.
Okay, how so?
I feel like you've decided that you like him, which I have too. That's fine. But I feel like you've been in his presence, so you know about the character, the guy. He's a great guy. I see him on tour as well. We had the Travis off. He's got the crepes on. I said, yo, what you got? Great guy. Got time for the fans. He's got time for the fans. And I feel like you're buying into that bit of him because he's a great guy.
100%. I'm not going to sit here and act like that's not true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there is a
great guy, because he is.
I think I am absolutely biased to that. 100%. And look, and I think I'm on that boat already. I think if I'm going to sink, I'm sinking with it. I think that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to hide from it. And
John, to rectify the boat and sail into distance, the fascia. Research the fascia, bro.
We're going to fix the fascia.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone for 2 seconds. He's gone for 5 more seconds. He's gone for 5 more seconds.
Look,
can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
If we're saying he's a squad player at best, 250 grand a week is far too much for a squad player.
He should never have been put on that, of course.
No, that's my point. So even if he's squad player at best and he can stay fit, I'd still get rid of him just for him being on 250 grand a week.
But you know what? Who's going to take Mason Mount?
He stays fit. He stays fit.
Wait. Maybe we should leave off this point, but I don't think he's just a squad player. Look, there are players like him in every team that he's not intended to be the superstar. I don't think he asks for the number 7, though, Bradley. In essence, if you look at what Amorim is trying to do, or even what Ten Hag was trying to do, what he does is basically, we don't need all creative players. We don't need all players that are going to do the same thing that Bruno does and stuff. He fits a profile that, I'll be completely honest with you, that we have very few of in Manchester United. I consider a squad player with somebody you can just call upon, right?
Even
so My final point I'll say to you is this. If we can sell him to recoup some of the money, I'm not going to sit here and complain we shouldn't. But if we keep him, we should at least hope that he stays fit because he will add value. But if the third season, as Flex just asked, and he's still not fit, we should let him go one way or another because he's not helping us. Nothing sentimental, period.
Can I say one more thing about the number 7? The 7 point, even if he stays and let's say we stripped him of that shirt number, which you probably should do, does that undermine him as a player? And then will he like that?
Does. No, he won't.
It tests his ego, Bradley. It tests his ego, but I think that's the character of the man.
I'm not even getting that deep. It doesn't matter to me. Mason Mount is not that. How do I put it? I don't see Mason, and maybe it's because he's coming from Chelsea and he hasn't done much yet for the club. But I'm just trying to say is that I see value in that player. Let me say this to you guys. Sometimes we must be careful what we wish for. You see, essentially, and I'm not saying Fred should have stayed at the club, right? I'm not saying that. Please, let me make it clear.
I think Joe thinks you're saying that he's bowed his head in shame. I think
we need certain, and I think if we are true football enthusiasts, we understand that each football team needs certain profile. For example, Biscuits never gets the credit that he should have gotten, but he was a critical part of why Barcelona was successful. And I'm saying that the injury is a problem, but apart from that, if we sell him this season, I'm not going to lose any sleep over selling him. That's it. That's my 2 cents.
Personally,
Man said biscuits.
I heard biscuits as well. I'm not gonna lie.
But Joe, you don't laugh. You're on the point first, Joe.
Wait, sorry, I was interrupted before, and I'm just gonna wrap up my point. And you're right, Flex. I do have that bias, but if I recall, in my 11 odd years of doing content, back in them times, I used to argue with a lot of fans about players that I just picked and I rode with because I liked the vibes and I felt the energy. And so sometimes I got it right, sometimes I got it wrong. I mean, I used to argue with Adam McCullough. Shout out Adam. I can't even tell you how much I argue with him about how I didn't like Martial. I didn't like the style of player. I didn't like the profile. And he banged in seasons that
he loves Martial.
Yeah, he was the president of Martial FC, and I used to argue with him all the time. And
he said Rashford was going to get how many goals this season?
Yeah, when we was in Snapdragon, bro, we spoke in the car park, the parking lot, as you call it, outside the Snapdragon Stadium, and just this summer gone. I said, Adam, what are you saying about Rashi, man? He goes, nah, people are just going too extra. I'm telling you, he's going to get 25 goals this season.
He might get it at Aston Villa.
Yeah, he might not be wrong. He might not be wrong, bro. He's got, 7 for us? You know what I'm saying? So he's,
and I just like the style of player that Mason Mount is, and I think he's a good individual. And I personally, I am in the belief, this is aside from football, I'm in the belief that good things happen to good people. And if he keeps working hard and applies himself, I hope and pray that things will be good for him. And I got all the love and respect for somebody like him. And if it doesn't, and if y'all want to crucify me and you guys want to call me back on the full view and said you're a fraud, you're a doer, then I'll take the L for it too.
Bradley will do that. Don't worry, he will.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I won't.
Nah, I'm playing.
Yeah.
I want to say I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. I'm going to be really honest now. I did not expect to talk about Mason Mount for about 28 minutes. He was just one of the players that was going to go. He was just on the list.
Yeah.
I did not think that Mason Mount, who has been gone for 12 weeks, would even cause this. Because, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, he's a goner. But the problem is like there's not exactly going to be people queuing up for him in the summer because he's been inactive for so long. So now it's going to be about him trying to stay fit to the end of the season, getting a good preseason, and going from there, if that's even a thing. And now we've got everyone in here. Actually, this part of the show, we've spoken about it in the last couple of days, so people know how I feel, etc. Owen, I wanted to ask, me and KG did it last night on the Flexing KG show, of like, is there anything to feel positive about with the last couple of days? So all the news that we've had from the stadium to the justification of these decisions, the justifications of the cutbacks, the people, Sir Jim and Omar Barada talking a lot.
Definitely.
With all that's happened in the last 48 hours, is there, obviously we're still 14th and all that stuff, is there anything to feel positive about? Or is it this smoke screen that's kind of been wheeled out to like make us forget about the real problem, which is the Glazers, and give us a shiny new toy in 5 years for a new stadium, etc., etc. The floor's open. I just want to see what you guys are saying on that. Whoever
it's definitely positive for me.
The stadium.
I even think even the Sir Jim Ratcliffe interview, I think even though we're in a bad time, I actually credit him for doing the interview in a bad time, because one thing we've criticised the Glazers for is not taking any sort of accountability and also not telling us and giving us any clarity on any situation. So I actually like the fact that we got given some clarity, and I think the stadium's wicked, to be honest. So I think it's class.
Joe, what are you saying?
I think it's
Where
a
you at with this
smokescreen,
one?
bro. It's
Yeah?
a smokescreen. It's 100%
Yeah.
smokescreen. Don't get me wrong. They're giving you good things. It's not like they're not offering you good things. It's like saying, oh, do you want to go sit over there in the toilet, or do you want to come over here and dine in the dining room? Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter that it's a good thing. It's still a smokescreen to just try to distract you from everything else that is going on financially. Every time he opened his mouth, it was about money. Yeah? It wasn't... the only time he spoke about the fans was to tell us that it was our fault that he kept Ten Hag. Wait, anyway, let me not
No,
even
he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. He said.
What else did he say about the fans? What else did he say about the fans?
Well, no, I'm only going I'm only going what he did with the Gary Neville interview. He said he said it was erratic under Eric Ten Hag, and he said
I have the
we
quotes.
didn't know. We didn't know at the time if
The quotes,
it was
Joe.
to do
Let's go.
with
You got
the
to defend your
regime he
guy.
was under, or
I'm not defending Ten Hag. I'm defending us as fans. He said that it was emotional decision backed by the fans. It was no, let me find the quote before I say something wrong. But he was basically saying fans, it was an emotional decision. Yeah, I don't want to say anything wrong in it. Yeah, I'm on the move. Yeah, but he did say that basically it was our fault because it was an emotional response, and he listened to us rather than listen to
Did
himself.
he not say it was too big of a decision to make at the time before all the people was in situ?
He did it because of the
I heard him
fans.
say that, Joe. I heard him say that.
I will find it. It was in the Telegraph.
Yeah.
I'm not even
That was
Telegraph.
okay.
It's Mirror
He
or
did
the
do another
Sun.
one there.
It was in the
He
Telegraph.
did do one with the Telegraph. He did one with the Telegraph. But on the Gary Neville one, unless he's saying different things on different platforms, which is a different discussion, to be fair, I saw it as he said that it was a big decision. It was too big a decision for us to make at the time, and we hadn't. Omar had only been there like 3 days. Dan wasn't there yet, and Jason had only been there. So basically, we gambled, and he goes, "Hold my hands up. We got it wrong." That's what he said.
And
I heard accountability.
He did also say it was erratic, and he didn't know if it was to do with the regime he was under or if it was down to him. So they said he was going to give him the benefit of the doubt, which is fair enough. Because I was personally one that wanted to get rid of him after the FA Cup final. But I do understand it from that perspective. They were going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he was under a poor regime. And he took accountability himself. He took responsibility and said, hold my hands up, it was a mistake. So obviously, it's an expensive mistake and it's cost us, but at least he's actually taking some sort of responsibility. And he also said the same thing about the Dan Ashworth situation as well.
Yeah, but here's an interesting thing though, because it looks like a lot of people are saying it, and Joe's going to find it, but it looks like on the Telegraph, which to be fair, I didn't read that interview. It looks like he said something. He looks like he said what Joe's saying, which is that we listen to the fans, which actually that then takes us into, well, which one is it? Or is it all of it? He's basically saying we listened to the fans and we didn't have the people in situ to actually make the decision properly. We didn't feel like we wanted to take that decision, etc., etc. So I don't know about the Telegraph one, but people are saying he did say both. Tomo, what are you saying? And while Joe's finding out, we'll come to John, we'll come to Marcel, we'll get a stay on this.
I'll make it quick.
Is there something to be positive about?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the new stadium. There's some things that he said that I agreed with. I mean, he called out in terms of how we purchase certain players and stuff. I think we can't be hypocrite and talk about that. I think what I would have loved to hear from them, though, I mean, in all of these cost cut and stuff of that nature, I would have loved to them talk about the Glazers saying, you know what, considering the state of the club, we're going to stop taking money out of the club.
Yeah,
that would have meant a lot more to me to see that there's that full commitment, right? Because it's all about putting this on, taking away people's job, raising the ticket prices. Yes, you're putting in a stadium, but you're obligated to do those things as owners. Fix the stadium we have or not. So I'm not going to say, hey, whatever. But I didn't. Yes, it's good that he came on, and there were some good things said. Yes, But overall, what I'd like to see, because we're in this situation because of the owners, and he's like a front man for the owners now, because he's not going to talk against the Glazers. But time will tell. I'll let the others stand in.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm going to get these super chats read out, and then we'll go to Marcel, and then John, and then Joe. I'm sure will come in once he's got he's got it there. Bray says, "Don't waste your time, Marcel. They know nothing. They know nothing, Marcel. Don't waste your time on us lot." V33 says, "John, damage control. Mount and Shaw are damaging our finances by being damaged themselves. Damage control would be kicking their asses out immediately." And Giggles and Glutes says, as a massage therapist qualified in here you go, hasitical release therapy. Marcel is on the right path, but on the wrong what side? On the wrong faux side of the roads. Basically saying that you're onto something, but then you're not, I think is what Giggles and Glutes is saying there. And
which is Marcel in a nutshell. You know what I mean? That's Marcel in a nutshell.
Can I come back to that? Giggles and Glutes and Brains as well?
You can come back to whatever you want, Marcel, yes.
Appreciate you, Fleck. So basically, there's people, and Brains 24/7, there's people that have already gone down this route. There's footballers that I can give example, and UFC fighters that have already worked down this route. And it's a very profound route in terms of changing the way that footballers train. Please, Mason Mount is seeing this, by the way, guys. So this is a very realistic thing that he will see, and he'll give. And
Can I ask you a question just quickly?
Yeah, go on.
Have you got any intel? Because obviously you're really sure that obviously Mason's watching this, which I'd like. Listen, we're a big platform, we're growing. I want to believe that. I want to manifest. What do you just? Is it anticipating that he's watching, or you think he is?
This is a factual thing that this will come to his knowledge. So yeah, I believe this will happen. Yeah.
Factual. Okay. All right. Yeah.
There's nobody colder than Marcel. Go ahead,
He's
Marcel.
the best. Yeah. Go ahead.
So once he works on this over a period of time, he will become, sustainably fit for a period of time. And we can back that information. I'll do my due diligence, and I'll most probably send it to Mr. Churchill because he's the best at receipts and these kind of things.
Yeah, he is.
But then, I'll go down that avenue. But this is a factual thing, and hopefully I get accredited for it from Mason Mount. And plus, we've got good vibes here as well, who's already seen all the footballers. So I'm really lucky that I'm in the right room.
Okay, right. Well, to be fair, Marcel is onto something. He's talking about rehabilitation. This is something that's been concentrated on by many athletes, UFC, etc. This is what he's saying is not a fake thing, though. That is true. It's not a fake. It's not a made up thing. It is a real thing. So, Owen, I know you're laughing and all this, but he is bringing up a real thing.
Never change, Marcel. Never change.
I love you, man. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to bring it to you, and then you do the rest. You do the magic.
I will do the rest.
Thank you.
Good vibes, John. Is there a reason to have good vibes right now, or like, are you with Joe, where you're a little bit concerned about like the timing of these announcements, and it's making fans pivot from the fact that we're 14th, the club was going to go bust at the end of this year. The Glazers are still in situ. Like, where do you stand on all this, bro?
Look, you can't sit there from whatever perspective you're looking at. You can't sit there and blame the fans for feeling, suspicious. You can't blame the fans for feeling like, this is a smoke screen. You can't blame them or say that they're wrong, because we've just been handed a pile of crap for so long that I think this season was the what's the phrase? The camel that broke something back. I can't, like, this is the season that really did it.
Broke the camel's back.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Like, I really feel like Manchester United fans just had enough of it. And I think, and this is just me speculatively speaking, I personally feel like the strategy of this INEOS regime, and we're seeing Ruben Amorim follow suit with that, is that I think they're just approaching all of it from a sense of transparency and this blunt honesty. And whether that's good or not is, only time will tell. But from my perspective, we've never seen the Glazers speak about United at all like that. We've never seen honesty. We've always had to hear it from some interview on some podcast from a player that left the club 5-6 years later, telling us about this, telling about that. Like, we want to see it now. What are you doing now to rectify the issue? And at least from that perspective, they're showing us that. And I'm okay with that. My only concern, you asked me about the stadium before, and I'll just touch upon it real quick. My only concern is there's no way on God's green earth that we're going to be able to fund that without tapping into something Manchester United have right now. In other words, I mean, it's going to be difficult to fund that and, stay afloat and do all those things. Financially, it's going to be a challenge. I want to know how they're going to be able to execute all that all the while being able to continue to make improvements on the squad. Because you can have the prettiest stadium in the world, but if the football is awful, if the recruitment structure is awful, if the back of house and the front of house is awful, there's no point in making a new stadium. We need to fix those things as a priority before the stadium. And for me, then this is just me, my opinion feels like, at least from what we can see 1 year on, what they've done is shown us that, look, they've opened the doors and said, you guys can come inside, see how much it stinks in here. And they're saying, hey, we're going to do all these things to make these changes. Although I might not necessarily agree with the method by which they're making these changes, they're at least trying. So like I said at the top of the show, I'll give people the benefit of the doubt first. If they I give them 2 years, and then on the third year, I really start thinking about, okay, have they been doing it the right way? Have been doing it right, or do they deserve the future? This year one, I'm gonna see what they do next year, and then we'll discuss. But for now, I'm okay with it because they're showing us the honesty, something we've not seen in forever.
Yeah. Okay, I hear that, Joe. You got the receipts there. What did he say in that
do.
telegraphing?
So just this snippet here, I'm going to read. It says, Ratcliffe, who was criticised for the costly sacking, said, there were just mistakes. The Eric thing was slightly mitigated. There was quite a lot of debate at the time. He just won the FA Cup final. The fans were clearly in the view that they wanted to stick with him and all that sort of stuff. There were both mistakes. I don't think we can say much more than that. Yeah.
Okay.
So for me,
that's
the only time he mentioned the fans. The only time that he mentioned the fans, and it's the fact that this is the thing, right? It's been two things: the Gary Neville interview and this bit. Yeah, those are two bits where he said that. What bit was it in the Gary Neville interview when Gary Neville suggested to him it was a better way to handle
he said about the fans in the Gary Neville one. He said about and I didn't like this, and Gary Neville didn't like it either. This idea that what a real fan is.
Yeah, the proper supporter.
He was like a loyal fan is the one that goes to the thing every single week. And many people pushed back to that and went, I can't go to the game every single week. If I'm on the other side of the world or I'm not near the stadium or what have you, I get up at crazy time in the morning, right? We got people on this panel from all over the world, get up at crazy times in the morning.
Someone's going crazy right now. John's going crazy.
To watch Man
Owen, I felt that one personally. Man, I spent so much to go and watch Manchester United. How the hell am I going to leave Jamaica every match day to go and watch matches, man? I was like, what is this bloke on about, man? Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. I agree with you. What?
I was saying, well, regarding the proper supporter bit, I mean, as much as I agreed and I appreciated the honesty, transparency part, I thought he shouldn't have maybe phrased it that way because right now, look, we're trying our utmost best to try and not divide the fan base. We're talking about it from the perspective of trying to come to the table like what this show is doing, talking about it, trying to come together. But that kind of statement it's a very divisive statement. And I thought he could have maybe phrased that better. Because I understand, and that's where you know that he's just a businessman. He's thinking about numbers, season ticket holders, people who make the trips to home and away games. I get it from a money standpoint. They're the ones going to the megastore. They're the ones buying this, whatever. I get that. I get it. But there's fans all around the world who wake up at insane hours of the day to spend time paying for a TV subscription for a TV provider company that pays for the broadcasting rights. So there's everybody's impacting and influencing and contributing to the club in different ways, right? So to say something like that, I thought it was a bit divisive. But again, look, this guy's a businessman, and there was 1,000 things that he was getting. Gary Neville was hitting him with some heavy stuff. So I think Joe's right. There was things that maybe he could have said better with respect to the fans.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think that Gary Neville hit him with hard questions, by the way. I don't think Gary Neville hit him with hard questions.
Okay, but
it was a very well-constructed interview between two brethren. That's what that was. Yeah? Someone trying to get his foot in the door in a very nice interview. Yeah? And obviously,
I thought he challenged him where he was. And listen, the thing is, he's obviously, again, something that's been labelled at Gary Neville in recent weeks, actually, and months, is like, why you're talking about Amorim saying, I'm worried for this, why are you not talking about INEOS? And of course, the task force, he's the voice on the video with the ground. Yeah. So he's part of that. So I hear that. So 100%, there's always going to be a slight compromise with how ham he goes. I hear that. But considering he's in that position, me personally, I took it. I went away and I said, you know what? I thought he pressed him. I thought he pressed him where he could. He goes, Jim, you're a shield for the Glazers. They're the most incompetent people, Jim. But Jim, they're the people who have made this club like this. And he's going, well, not entirely. They are, Jim. They are. He's pressing him. And when he came up with the like, you're taking food like not players from my generation, the 70s and 80s, you're taking money from them. Like, why don't you put Bruno Fernandes? He's pressing in there. I think he pressed them. I don't think we can't. Obviously, we want. This is what we want as fans. Yeah, we want Sir Jim. Before. No, sorry, just to quickly say, we want Sir Jim to sit there, yeah, and cuss out the Glazers like what we do. That's what we really want to see. We want to see this guy go. You see these Glazers? I can't wait till I get all of this club off them.
But he can't do that, though.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He can't do that.
We're not going to get what we want.
But Joe, on the point of Neville, I thought Neville really was pushing back against everything. There's nothing that Neville. Think about it this way. There's nothing that he answered except for the last question about the stadium that he agreed with him on. To flex his point, literally, he said, look, these are stupid decisions. Without saying that, he said, you could have taken different path to achieve what you're achieving. So, I mean, what would you have rather to hear him ask? Let me ask you, what did you want him to ask?
No, 1 second. This is the thing. When it's an interview between two brethren, it's never going to be that, innit? Let me just tell you this. If KG comes on my channel and I say, KG, let me do an interview with you, KG's going to know all the questions, yeah? KG's going to know what I'm going to be saying to him. He's going to know what kind of path I'm going down because KG is more in the public eye than I am and he has to keep his shit safe. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, yeah? So when I'm questioning him, he will know the line of questioning, even if it's going to look like we're pushing back on things. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. No, they would have agreed. You're saying they would have agreed on that pushback. They would have agreed.
We would have agreed on these things before the interview starts. Look, Jim, listen, I'm an interviewer. No one's going to take this legitimately if it's just like a non-pushing back kind of interview. I'm going to ask you these things. Obviously, it's going to get a little bit
uncomfortable. But Joe, this is the point I'm making, Joe.
There's one question I would love to him ask, but I know we couldn't have asked it. So I was asked the question. Yeah, the question was that I would have loved for him to ask is, why did you, if you knew that we was going to be bankrupt, yeah, and I know we already had this conversation, Wajid, if you're watching, please, over the records delegates, I know you already answered this, but I would have said to him, if you knew we were going to be bankrupt by Christmas, why not leave the places to it? They would have had to sell. No? Wouldn't they have had to sell? If they brought us into, yes, people said that, you know what, investors from America might have just come in. Yeah, the only two people that came up saying they wanted to buy in full was at first Sir Jim and Qatar. Yeah, and then we heard about things about, you know, you might get investment from America and stuff like that, but they wanted a certain amount of money. If they let them go into bankruptcy, which is never really bankrupt, let's face it, yeah, they would have had to leave because you can't run Man United into the ground. You just can't.
But do you think that's true? Do you think that's true that the Glazers would have been forced to sell this whole thing, or do you think they would have found?
I think they would have found investors.
Would there just be someone else who just replaces Sir Jim?
They just loan more money.
I believe that's what would have happened. He would have just got his American man them. Or whoever in minority investors, whatever, that are just there were two. Owen, what's the two names?
They would have sold more shares. They would have sold more shares of the club.
Yeah,
and literally we would probably be in the same situation. These are businessmen, Joe. That's what they do. They would have just taken a block of the club and put us further obligated to satisfy investors. So if it wasn't Jim, somebody would
have been someone else. It would have been someone else.
I don't know. I'm like this with it. You know, the thing is, the only reason that I kind of believe and I agree with you guys is because I never really believed that they wanted to sell anyway. That's the only thing that's making me go, okay, cool. Because really and truly, it feels like they were just out there looking for investment, really. Yeah.
They wanted the credit card. They just wanted a credit card. They didn't want because they inflated the price for
exactly.
People that were willing to front the whole thing, Joe. So and you didn't
agree
your own rhetoric because you finished it with agreeing with us essentially. So
listen, bro, I said that's the question I wanted him to ask. That's the question I wanted him to ask.
One thing I do think, is I've been thinking about this over the past couple of days. Of you see when people are saying like, how can we be bankrupt but we're trying to pay for this as whatever. I don't know if you guys agree with this or whatever, but I was thinking, I think that Sir Jim is trying to get all of the shit in order, like scraping off everything, get the finances in place, so that he essentially can be attractive to lenders to actually fund this. You see, like if you want a mortgage on a house, sometimes what people do is they go, oh boy, I've got too much expensive. Let me get rid of that car there. Let me get rid of that expense. Let me get rid of that expense. And then you're more attractive to lenders which obviously is going to put us in a better position for people to then lend us more money, because banks are going to look at it and go, well, if Man United get a new 100,000 seat stadium, if Man United could attract all of that that revenue from sponsorship and stuff, then wow, they're going to be on stuff. So I'm just like, well, hold on a minute. I just think he's trying to trim everything down so that he can get us to a place where we're attractive to people to actually get more money in, as well as making us not spend more as well. So
Sir Jim Ratcliffe as a businessman, he believes in himself, and he believes in the idea that he can do what it takes to bring Manchester United back to a certain position and therefore be deemed a success. I've always said this. Remember, we used to do full view back in them times. I said that I believe that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, when the Glazers said, look, we're not going to sell the entire club, the next best option was to wedge the foot on the door before it closed shut and then wiggle your way in and create more space. I still fully believe that INEOS and Sir Jim Ratcliffe are trying to buy all the shares at some point. That's my speculative theory, is that I think he wants to buy all of it and he wants to leave a legacy. This man doesn't need any more money. I mean, if you're that at that age, instead of chilling in like Tenerife or going to Mali or something, or Malibu or something, like, instead of chilling in some, like, seeing retired, the fact that he wants to take on a job in the project the size of the problems, the scale of Manchester United, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's more legacy related.
A couple of seconds ago, the mayor of Manchester, Andy Burnham, it's just a quick snapshot because United District just posted it, and it has been out there that no public money will be spent on the stadium. It's not the public paying for this stadium. So that scare of, like, who's paying for this? Are you just going to put the ticket prices up? Because I said this earlier, like, for the ticket prices to be, like, for us to foot the bill of the stadium, you can't just put it up to like 66 quid a bit and then. But he's
saying that public money, that means taxpayer money. That's not necessarily fan money. They could still raise ticket prices to pay for it.
Yes. So the general public aren't paying for it. But I'm saying for us as fans, like, where it's hiking up I think he's hiking up the price just to make us more financially viable.
Flex,
I don't think it's to pay for the stadium.
I just want to tell you a super quick story of what the Glazers did back in the times, back in them times. When they first purchased the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the infrastructure with respect to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the stadium itself was so bad. So what they did was, to make a brand new stadium, they went to the government and said, hey, you guys need to help us, because if you guys don't help us make this brand new stadium to attract revenue and attract income, we're going to take this franchise and go to another city. And the fans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were like, no, don't go anywhere. Tampa Bay Buccaneers is, and by the way, if you guys don't know, American franchises, they do that. They just take a team and put it somewhere else. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
That's disgusting, right? But that's what Americans do. Anyways, that was the idea. So they put pressure on the government by telling the fans, hey, y'all better vote for the constituency that says they're going to support us. That's how they funded the stadium. That's not going to work this time. So it's going to pose a different challenge to the Glazers. These are the type of ways inadvertently you're putting pressure onto the Glazers, right? And I'm not, sorry, go ahead, Marcel.
No, you don't finish, please.
No, I was just saying, I just feel like at the end of the day, there's different ways to apply pressure to these Glazers, and I think that's what Sir Jim Ratcliffe is doing. That's what I think. You know,
I'm going to say I agree with you, and I think you're right in the sense that I think it's actually happening now, but it's the government. They're asking the government to renovate Manchester. They're trying to proliferate Manchester as a whole, John. So I think they are still trying to do that, and I think it's through the gaze of Sir Jim, basically a British man that is. So he's kind of connecting the government dots, and then Omar Barada's kind of done this kind of, what Fleck is saying in terms of trimming. He's done that before or similar, raising funds at City. So I think it's going to be through the government, and let's see. I hope that Manchester, it does become, as a whole, as a city as a whole, really profitable from this. By the way, is V33 an engine? Is that an engine?
V33, yeah, Panatola Road.
It's an engine, yeah, that's quite cool. But by the way, Mason Mount is, we already spoke about it. I don't want to conflate Mason Mount and Shaw as the same, clowns like him. That's bad wording and all these things, V33. So I'm not really with all of that. Like maybe he is kind of robbing a living to a degree, like what T said. There's an element of fraud in there, but Luke Shaw's completely different. It's like been a sustainable lost cause, the behaviors, all these things. Mason Mount kind of conducts himself as a decent pro, guys. Let's just get honest with this. It's just that he has a series of poor injuries, and if he checks the fascia, he'll be fine.
There you go. You heard it there. V33 says, Marcel, I don't care if Mount is watching. People are losing their jobs because of clowns like him, and Shaw robbing their livelihood but by not being available. And C1 Chaos says, a CEO out of touch with their fan base. Shocker. Guys, of course, we've seen that Atletico Madrid are 1-0 up already. It's 2-2 on the night. So, of course, we all want to get off and watch that. Who do we want to go through, guys? The history and DNA of Real Madrid, or people want Atleti?
Atleti.
Why
Go on,
don't
Letty.
Atleti.
Really? Okay.
It's
What,
like
just for
watching
something
City
different?
win the league.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I hear that. Well, who's got a better chance? Will both of them beat Arsenal, innit? Or Arsenal got a better chance against Real Madrid, like they were saying, or doesn't matter who? Doesn't matter.
They'll get battered either way.
Either Madrid club, they're out, yeah? All right, cool.
Even Madrid club, they're getting out.
All right, cool. Big up to Good Vibes John, big up to Tamo, big up to Bradley, big up to Joe Blackman, making his debut finally, putting his destiny in his own hands. Shout out to Marcel, shout out to Owen as well. We'll be back tomorrow with another morning view, and we'll be back with a full view again next week. We are gone. Enjoy the football, guys. We're gone. Peace.